What's up guys? It's been a while. Another tutorial just for you guys. Welcome back and let's go ahead and start 2020 strong. Onto the video. Intro, boom boom boom, pictures, text animations, logo, and sound effect. Boom, Cayabyab video. YouTube channel. What's up guys? So happy New Year 2020. My goal, my personal goal for this year is to make weekly videos and stay consistent with my upload times. So let's hope for the best. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Cayabyab. I am a hybrid shooter content creator. I love doing travel films that inspire me. I'm into cars. I love helping you guys out with tutorials, and I love doing those cinematic B-rolls and actually documenting my journey in hopes to inspire you guys through action. So if you guys are into that, make sure you guys subscribe and comment and like. Number one problem for every photographer, for every videographer, and that's what to buy next. Now I know there's this stigma where, and I've fallen for it, where people think that if you buy the newest lens, you buy the newest 6K Blackmagic Pro camera, then obviously you will be troubled, you will get lost, and you will buy these expensive items with probably a credit card or money that you don't own. I'm gonna give you guys 3 reasons as to why you should either buy the item, rent it, or just not buy it at all. So let's go ahead and move on to reason number 1. Reason number 1 of why you should upgrade, or when you should upgrade, is when you have an upcoming gig. Now let me elaborate on that, because I know some people might give me a lot of pushback in regards to that. So when I have an upcoming gig, I like to think of items that could potentially help accentuate the story, not just for that gig, but for gigs moving forward. I got hired as a second shooter. My goal for that job was to do tripod work and capture interactions, emotions, people's faces. One-time events, so run and gun style. When I first started doing paid work for videos, I had my Sony a6500. The only lens I had was a Sigma 16 and 30 millimeter. And I thought, what can I do as a second shooter? So I thought to myself, maybe if I get the Sony 18-105, it could potentially help me with that gig. So I did some research, see how well it did with gimbal work, tripod work, autofocus, read the reviews, and I was like, okay, once I got everything down, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet, but let me think if I could use this with other gig work. I never really had a lens to give me close-up shots. Now with shots like that, will it give me the ability to, storytell better? And it did, because right when I bought that lens, I got it used, by the way, used it, it helped accentuate the story, and little did I know, I even use that lens for my secondary camera when I do weddings, and it's my go-to APS-C lens for my Sony a6500 when I want to capture the crowd's emotions, or even get like the bride and groom and the officiant or officiant, whatever, speaking to the bride and groom. It's the perfect lens for me, and it's helped me tremendously. Here's another example. I bought a Sigma 30mm f1.4 for my Sony a6500. Now I was thinking that, hey, that'd be good for like family photos. In the end, I barely did any family photos from like a year ago, and I barely used that lens, and I've only used it probably like less than 10 times. So it did not give me a good ROI. I ended up selling it so I could get my Sony 50mm for my full frame camera, because I feel like that would be much more beneficial since I'm using that camera more, and it's good for me for a lower light setting. So that's reason number 1. If you have a potential gig and you need it, and you could use it to help accentuate storytelling or content creating from that gig all the way up to other gigs as well, it passes the test of buying that new equipment. Go ahead and buy that new equipment. Now let's talk about renting. I know you guys are probably wondering, okay, don't listen to this guy, you can always rent your equipment, and by all means I believe in renting as well, but I feel like for something cheap like a Sony 85mm, let's say it's your first time using it, you don't have any funds, I say by all means rent it. But with an 85mm lens, you could use that for basically everything. For video, for photo, it's a very good item to have in your bag. So that way you don't have to wait for, a lens rental company to go ahead and send you that lens when you have it right there and then. I'm all about conveniency and, timeliness. I want my stuff to be right there with me, so that way I don't have to worry about renting anything. So for more expensive cameras like, mini Alexa or a Red camera, I feel like you should rent that. If you do have the funds, to buy a Red camera, then I say by all means, go for it. All up to you. Renting to me is like a 50-50 depending on the situation. I'm not saying don't rent. I say think very, very hard about whether you should rent this item or if you should buy it. All up to you, depending on the situation. Which leads me to tip number 2. Long-term usage versus short-term usage. So it's basically like the first example, right? This Tamron 20-75. It's such a versatile lens. I could use it for photo and video. To me, I would put that in the long-term usage section where I could, just buy it and keep it. If it breaks, it breaks. I could always buy a new one or upgrade to a 24-70. I could use this lens for about 5 years if nothing happens to it, even longer, and it'll still get the work done. As opposed to something like a 70-200. I don't do event photography. I don't do sports photography. I don't do wedding photography. Yes, I could use it for videos as well, but I feel like to me using a 70-200 would be probably a short term usage thing for me, unless I get into one of those things, or if I run into a situation where I'm using a 70-200 more often. Which leads me to my last tip. Now my last tip, I feel like this should be like the very, 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 very last thing to do, and that's upping your production level. And what I mean by that is, let's say if you've exhausted all free material, you've exhausted all the consumer level items, you've learned how to color grade, you're in a soundproof room, you got a nice microphone, you got nice key light, fill light, hair light. You've got literally every production that you can potentially do. It's super good, it's dope, it's 4K right now, but you want to up it. I feel like that's the last thing you should do, is when you're ready to make that upgrade, when you want that production to be a little bit nicer. I think about it like bodybuilding, right? You got your 3 main lifts, you squat, you bench, and you deadlift. Those are the 3 main workouts, and then you have accessories, right? Everything's all good. You're super, super buff. Everything is good, but now you want to perfect the little exercise that will make your body like a little bit more refined. And I feel like that's what upping your production level is. It's that little thing that can take you from like, let's say from like 90% to like 95%. That 5% increase a production level. And that's the reason why I feel like upping your production should be less, is because it's so minimal in regards to helping tell your story or helping accentuate your content creating. By upping your production with like a higher end camera, yes, it'll look nice, it'll look super, super dope, or like you up your sound system, your room, you have a studio, whatever. It's that little thing that will help increase your production, but not too much, and that's why I leave that as my last tip. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a bit long. If you have any questions or concerns or even comments, leave in the comment below. Let's start a discussion. These are just my tips, so take things into consideration, but don't implement it if you 100% don't truly believe it. So this is just my side of things. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you guys please like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys later. Peace out.